BeastNet is brought to you by James Safety Services in partnership with OCR Buddy and OCR Strong. Here we discuss all things OCR and fitness related. Welcome to BeastNet.
Hey everybody, it's Mike with BeastNet, and today I got with me Hazelanna. Hazelanna, for those who never, apparently never listened to the podcast, let them know who you are a little bit.
I'm Hazelanna McMahon, and my family and I live in Randall, Washington. We have a farm where we raise cattle and hay, and we just decided to do something with the property in 2017 and to try to make some money, which is a kind of a funny thing. But anyway, we ended up trying our first mud run, and it was a flop. And then we learned a little bit from that and just kept on going, and got connected in with you guys and met some really neat people and got some insights into what people are looking for maybe and how we could better things and what we could do. And then we're going to go great guns for 2020, and we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
So now we've just kind of revamped a little bit and adjusted, and we're still going. So hopefully we'll be going for a while because we made some really good friends along the way.
I hope so, because I'm hoping I'm one of those friends now.
Yeah.
I love your event. And that's one thing. Any of the listeners on here who've never gone out there, I mean, we push hard for the race local, and this is one of those. Definitely race local. And I know you'll get every once in a while, well, Randall's so far out there. I'm like, but you'll travel halfway across the country to go to another race. I mean,
Right.
it's not that bad of a drive. I can, I've done multiple times where I've driven down there, raced, has such a blast with friends and with Hazelanna and with everyone else that's, because I swear half the city of Randall comes out to help and do everything. And then
Well,
we have to be home for dinner.
a lot of those people come, they drive a couple hours to come help. Actually, a lot of those volunteers are just friends that I've made over the years, and they come out for the day.
And I mean, you'll never find a better group of volunteers and a better group of people. I mean, it's so much fun. And like last year when you added in the challenges, which was such a blast, the hunt,
The treasure hunt.
treasure hunt, looking for stuff. We spent so much more time just like constantly looking around, like, where's the next one? And they were in some of them, you had to turn around, like you'd go past and all of a sudden you turn around and do, oh heck, there's one behind us. That's how do we walk past it? And I mean, it made you think, made you have fun. And I mean, it's one of those things, like most of us got into this kind of racing not to challenge to be number one. We got into it to have a fun time with our friends, and that's
Right.
that's what your race brings back. And I mean, it's all the old school obstacles. I feel like I'm a kid playing on the playground again, climbing on the tires, all that kind of stuff. So, the kayaks, that was a neat one. Throwing the kayaks in there, I'm like, oh.
Kayaks will be back. So I'm glad you brought that up because it was 2019, and when Lorenzo and Peter and a few of the others had come out and really just had Lorenzo especially, we had some heart-to-hearts about how cool it was to have that feeling of being a kid again.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at something and going, oh, I can make an obstacle out of this. I can, let's take this rock, or let's take this tree, or let's take this series of trees or the creek or something and make it into something rather than, trying to copy. We'll never be Spartan out here,
I'm glad for that.
I don't want to be. and we won't be anybody else. We'll always only be Summit to Swamp. And I think we just had to take a deep breath and go, what do we have that nobody else has? And I think what we have is the element of just being able to come out here and relax and have fun.
Mhm.
And there's no penalties if you don't want to, if you don't want to go through an obstacle. Like one of our first years, a friend and his wife came.
Mhm.
She came with him because he wanted to do it. And she goes, honey, I'll go through everything with you, but I'm not getting muddy. Okay, so he did all the mud things, and she walked around, took pictures, and but that's the cool thing about it. They were out here doing something together. And then we took the age limit off. And so um, the year after, well, 2021, we just did a friends and family day because I didn't want to deal with regulations for COVID or whatever.
Yep.
So it was an invite only, no charge, Well,
Mhm.
the invite was to everybody, but no charge. And we had people out here with kids that were 4 and 5 years old. They just came because it was something to do and a place to be. And families, this one family came from Seattle in their street clothes. Well, we saw it advertised and we just thought it would be something to do. But anyways, I think that type of stuff is what makes me feel best about the whole thing, what gives me the incentive to keep doing this, even though it's a lot of work. um, and then everybody did have such a good time yesterday, last year. And we got a lot of good feedback about the treasure hunt. So we decided to do it again. We had fun with it too.
Yeah,
And
like I said,
so,
that was a blast. Going up the side of the hill, as always, is so cool because once you get to the top, you can like look out over the valley. It's like I always take pictures like, here's where we are, and see the sign up there. You end up going past that, and I know in years past we've gone higher, but it was kind of like, I kind of like the fact that we didn't this time because there was some of those times when we went higher where a lot of people like, I ain't going up there. But I liked it. I like that kind of climbing and that kind of fun stuff. But it's one of those things I get, you expanded the other way, which I thought was really cool. Like you went farther down by the river and expanded farther out that way,
yeah.
which
Well, some of the
is
guys said
awesome.
they really wanted a little more running,
Mhm.
and it kind of adds a trail element to it, I guess. And um, so plus two, most of the treasure hunt will be in the flat area that's not all muddy or steep. So if people want to bring their kids and they don't want to tackle the upper stuff,
Mhm.
I mean, there will be treasure things up there too, but you can still do the majority of everything and have a lot of fun obstacles down in the flat and the dry, basically.
Well, that's what I like last year is where you changed that up too, where it was broken up. There was 3 sections, and you can kind of pick one or all, and of course I go for all of them because that's just who I am. But you could pick one or all. So I mean, they did have that one whole section like you're talking about where it was off into the, just kind of a trail. It was dry. I mean, there was really no wet. I mean, besides just, the fact that we're out in the middle of nature, other than that, I mean, it was a nice, leisurely like run through the woods basically, and then you have the up where you go way up,
Right.
and then the summit, obviously, and then down below where you go into the swamp, which is
Right.
exactly, if everyone's like, what's it like? I mean, it's exactly what it is. You go way up a hill and then you end up in a swamp. I mean, it's the
Right.
summit of the swamp. It's right there in the name. But like I said, the kayaks, so cool. I mean, it's been years since I did that. And like I said, it felt like being a little kid. It's like, I think too many places think too hard about this. Like they're like, what can I do to build this obstacle? What can I do to do this? What can I? And you guys kind of stepped back, and in a way, it seems like, and just looked at it and said, "What's fun?
Right.
What do we have here, and how can we make what we have? A
Well,
fun
and
obstacle."
two, when you really have no budget,
Yes.
you kind of have to get creative too. And so we just went to the local tire place, Rod's Tire, and they do all the tires for the mill. So we get Laterno tires and um, tractor tires and loader tires and stuff like that. My husband's like, would you please tell Rod you don't need any more tires, please? So, but we just had to go, okay, well, what can we do with this? But we are going to have the zip line this year. We had it 2 years and then we just didn't have, I don't know, things get crazy. The weather messes with us a lot because, it's really hard to clean trail if there's snow up on that hill. You know how steep it is.
Oh yeah.
So, so things happen, but
They do.
yeah.
But it's one of those things. I mean, you guys put a lot into it. And I mean, it's one of those things. Like I say, if you're going to have a volunteer day, let me know. And I'll definitely yell out to a few people to get out there and go play. I think that the hard part for me, it's been like the last 2 years that you've done when you've had the volunteer day happen to like fall on like the one, like I'm asked to work like a weekend, like 2 or 3 times a year. That's it. It's always on that weekend.
Yeah. Well, basically I'll be out there every weekend, the last 2 weekends of March and every weekend in April until the event. So if anybody wants to come down, just get a hold of me and come on down. We've got lots of stuff to do. So,
and if you don't know how to get a hold of Hazelanna, reach out to me and I'll help you.
Yeah, and my cell is on our website.
Yeah.
And forgive the website; it's under construction, and I have to kind of apologize for that too because I had the website in this one. Somebody set it up for me to do. Well, it was just a pain to mess with, so I just kind of bowl my way through it just to get up enough information. And then it's like, I don't want to look at that again. So this time I'm like, that's not cool because I just leave it and don't do anything with it. I mean, Russ from OCR Buddy, he sent me a message. He goes, hey, Hayes, it says that registration is open, but it doesn't go to anything. And I go, I know, Russ, I'm really sorry, but I just went and took the link out for registration last year and then I haven't messed with it. And so anyway, I have a new program for building websites, and so I'm working on getting that up and better, and then we can get video and pictures. And I feel really bad. We have so many pictures from the last 5 years that we've done everything, and people ask me, post the pictures. Well,
It's one of those things. I think a lot of people got to understand that too, where, everyone's like, oh, well, I did a Spartan race and, they had their pictures up on, the next day. They have millions of dollars and like thousands of people that work for them.
Yeah.
This is Hazelanna.
And professional photographers and,
like Summit to Swamp is Hazelanna.
And our pictures are whoever wants to send us ones. Like when you and Brian and Felicia went out, you took all kinds of pictures. And so it's whenever you guys decide to send them or whoever else. And and then too, if the pictures are taken really big, in a big format, then you have to go through and size them down to put them onto Facebook and stuff so that you aren't overwhelmed by data.
Oh yeah. It's there's a lot behind the scenes that I think a lot of people miss. It's one of those things. I mean, everyone, they go to these events and they show up and they're like, yes, this is it. And then they're like, oh, well, there was this problem. And it's like I said, you deal with the bigger companies, they have thousands of employees and like Summit to Swamp is Hazelanna and whoever wants to help her that day.
Right. I mean, yeah. My family pitches in for the mainly for the track stuff. My daughter helps. She's getting better about helping me, but like the organizing and the planning of it, but all the stuff on the back end, if you're going to go out and go after sponsors, that takes time, and then you've got to give the sponsors what you've promised them. And we do everything from the t-shirt, sweatshirt design to whatever else. And yes, those who came last year who didn't get their shirts yet, I just throw out a little thing, and an excuse is just an excuse. But I was working 2 jobs last year. That's why we didn't get a lot of the marketing done and this and that, and didn't get stuff done ahead. And then that 2 jobs still kept going into the summer. And then my mother-in-law came, we brought her home on hospice. So that went through December. So I have a huge apology to everybody who they're still in a box on my living room floor, waiting for me to send them to you guys. Um,
I know you're good for it.
well, they're here, and I have the list with your names on it. It's just a matter of,
No, I've
putting
got
them
to
in
figure out
something
too.
and mailing them.
I know I got to figure out too, because I think I can't remember if I messaged you when me and Dawn left. Somehow in all the changing, I left my cup and my medal.
Well, I have one for you here. Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden we got home and I'm like, where's my stuff?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So did you like the cups?
I
You want
did.
the cups back?
I do like the cups. I do like I get. I'll be honest. So I love coffee cups. I get yelled at by Amber and Benton all the time. Like whenever I bring, they're like, really another coffee cup? I'm like, yes, another coffee cup because I love coffee cups. But because I love coffee, but I figure I'm gonna get rid of a few. Benton just told us that he's got his own place. He's moving out in March, so we're about to be empty nesters. Whew,
Oh,
I'm not sure how I
wow.
feel about that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about being an empty nester. I'm like, yeah. I mean, there's always been. It's never been. It sounds bad to say. It's never been just me and the wife. There's always
Yeah.
because we had kids before we got married too. So we both have kids from previously. So it's like I'm not sure if she's gonna be able to put up with me if it's just me. The kids are there as a buffer.
We kind of dealt with that on New Year's Eve because my daughter had a place she wanted to go with her friends, and our son had, well, his birthday is New Year's Day, so he was turning 21. And
So
so
he had
he
a good
had his
celebration.
places to go where he really didn't want mom to come with him, go figure. Anyway, so they were gone, and my daughter walked out the door, and Guy goes, wow. He goes, is this what it's going to be like? Because she has one more year
Yeah.
of school. So
We've had a couple times where it's been just us. Like when we go on vacation now, it's just us because we'll leave the kids at home, because I mean, what, they're adults now. They can get their own vacation, but because my youngest is Benton. He'll be 21 in April, like right before his birthday is
oh
usually
well.
the weekend of Summit to Swamp or right before, so he'll be 21. So then that's our youngest, but I mean, that's it. So it's like, New Year's, a lot of these holidays, it's just us now. So it's kind of like we've had that, a little bit, but now all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, I've got a place. So we're definitely going to be empty nesters now. So it's going to be quite interesting.
Right.
But yeah, so the other thing I wanted to actually ask you, I noticed because I already signed up because that's
I
me.
saw that. Yeah.
The ruck option. Of
Oh
course, I signed
yeah.
up for the ruck option because that's just who I'm like. Oh, a ruck. I love rucking because for whatever reason, apparently carrying heavy things and going on trails is fun to me. But so how
Well,
is it?
Adam had mentioned that um, a while back, and I just didn't have time to do it last year.
Mhm.
And he said, a lot of people are wanting to ruck and stuff. Have you thought about a ruck option? And so this year I brought it up to Jasmine's boyfriend, and he goes, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, we'll have a bunch of us in there. And so I really didn't know what to do with it, and I wanted it to be fun. So I just thought, an easy way to do it is like 10% of your body weight. And we can just it's kind of on your honor anyway.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pack that much and all you want to pack is a backpack or, whatever.
Or you're
It's
weird like me and have a specialized backpack that's made to put a weight in it and all that.
well, there you go. Yeah. But some of the ones I think we're going to do a special t-shirt design for those that are signing up for the ruck.
Yeah.
So they get the muck and ruck t-shirt.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Everybody else just gets regular Summit to Swamp t-shirt. So
Nice. That'll be good. Yeah, because that's
okay, so what about the long sleeves? You guys like the long sleeves instead of all the short sleeve ones?
I do.
Or you
But
do? We had a lot of comments. People like the different, everybody has short sleeve t-shirts,
I
but
do. Well, the one thing I like too
what
is your t-shirts are still like cotton, or not really cotton, but I mean, they're
they
normal.
are.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not that weird. Whatever the wicking, whatever weird
Oh, like the
things.
performance things.
And I'll be honest, the feeling of those is so weird on my skin. They're okay if I'm working out, but like if I just want a t-shirt to put on to like, you know, go to work, I want
Right.
something that's comfy, and that's kind of one of those ones. So I have a drawer full of all those like tech tees or whatever they call them. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
only grab them when I'm going to work out. Other than that, if I want a normal t-shirt to go out. And that's what I love about you guys. So, and that's why I like having the long sleeve, because when you run around here, for me, like now it's
Right.
and I want those long sleeves so that when I go out there and run, that's one of my biggest problems. I went about like 2 weeks ago, I went for a run, and I ended up turning around after like half a mile because it was just so cold out that my arms were actually like, just in that little bit of time, were already just almost like hurting because it was cold. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
this is where a long sleeve would have been nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We did the very first year we did short sleeve t-shirts for the volunteers. Of course, that one was September, but um, in 2018 we did short sleeves again, and then we got to looking at it and we're like, in our area we wear sweatshirts probably 10 months out of the year.
Mhm.
So if we get people t-shirts, they're going to cover them up with a sweatshirt. So we might as well get the sweatshirts and have those on top and have our advertisement out there.
Because I wear,
So
I wear hoodies. I have a collection of hoodies, coffee cups, and hoodies. You're hitting me in my sweet spot.
there you go.
Those
There
are
you
my things.
go.
Yeah, I have a huge
Yeah.
collection of hoodies because that's, if I go somewhere, that's what I'm gonna buy, because that's what I know I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna
Right.
wear hoodies like every morning. It's like I get up and it's like, I wear, because what happens, and it kills Amber, drives her nuts. I leave the house with a hoodie on, and then as the days, even during the summer, normally I'll leave with a hoodie on.
Uh-huh.
I leave early in the morning. And when I leave, of course, it starts to get warm throughout the day. I take the hoodie off in the car, throw it in the back seat. Well, the next morning, I need a hoodie, so I grab a different one. And then what ends up happening is I end up with like 8 or 9 hoodies in the back seat of the car. All of a sudden, I'm like, "Where are all my hoodies?" Oh, they're in the back seat of the car.
That's funny. And
Yeah,
then you bring all this laundry in for her to wash.
yeah. I do
Shame on
laundry
you.
sometimes.
Yeah. So anyway, we put the time for starting at 11 for the racers and 11:30. And we're just trying to, that gives people time to drive.
Mhm.
It gives people time to drive. You don't have to rush. And then you have till 3 o'clock when volunteers will come down off the course at 3 o'clock. And that doesn't mean you have to be off, but all the volunteers for the zip line and some of the other stuff will be done. So that's kind of, they'll be sweeping everybody in, making sure everybody's off the course.
Well, the nice part too is starting like at 11:30 is, um, one, it's not so cold in the morning. I mean, we're still in
Right.
April. I mean, it's still cold in the morning sometimes, especially if it's like, what, like was it 2 years ago when it was raining the whole day?
Oh, that was just brutal.
So, I mean, it
Yeah.
was still, I mean, it was cold, but it was warmer by 11:30, where I think, if we, Randall's up a little bit in the elevation. So, I mean, it's a little colder down there sometimes, you know. So, I mean, it would be one of those things where I can remember a couple mornings, like, like last year, it was icy here at my house when I left. But by the time we got down there and everything started at 11, the sun was out. It was,
Right.
it was warm for April, So, and that's what's nice, is having that later start. And I mean, it gives us time, we're not jumping up at 5 in the morning to,
Right.
to try and get
Yeah, the
out of
whole
the
point
house.
is to have fun, right? And if you want to bring your kids, who wants to try to drag your kids out of bed at 4 or 5 in the morning and drive down to somewhere to, you know? And so we're we're going to do just some basic food again too. So volunteers and participants and family can eat just big pot of soup or chili or sandwiches, stuff like that,
Nice.
potluck stuff. So um, I'm trying to get a hold of one of the local coffee trucks and see if they'll come for the weekend or
Yeah,
for the day. I mean,
coffee,
but
always good.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, that's one of the things. The other thing is the family atmosphere is when you're there, like you said. I mean, it's any age really. I mean, you go in there. I mean, you have the food afterwards. We're having like, it's the big potluck. It's it feels like the family reunions that I never wanted to go to as a kid, but but with family that I actually want to go see, so it works out. But and that's what's kind of fun is, I mean, like I said, it's that whole family atmosphere that most of us that do these races, that's why we do them, because we love that family atmosphere, seeing our friends. I just today I had to go see a friend that I haven't raced with or seen in since almost like once since COVID started. So it's been a while because she doesn't really race anymore. But it's one of those things like, I miss those friends. And that's one of the nice things,
right.
we go down there and even people that I have never met. It's like we're family, we're talking, we're having fun. I mean, it's a wonderful atmosphere. And that's why I love local races, but yours is like, honestly, is like a step above because
Oh,
it
thank
is,
you.
it is the whole family atmosphere. It doesn't even feel like, it just feels like, I'm trying to think of the best way. The field day when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and that like right before the last week of school, we'd always go down to the local, for me, it was like Wilderness because I grew up in, Maple Valley. We would go down there and there was the tug of war and the field day, and we just go play for a day.
Hmm.
That's what your race feels like to me every time. So
Good.
much fun.
Good. Oh, and you can bring your dogs too.
Yeah, I
If
don't know
people
about
want
mine.
to bring if people want to bring their dogs and run, if we just, but I don't know. I just, it just needs to be fun.
Yes.
It needs to be a fun place for people to come.
And that's what I love about it. It's fun. It's like, you said the one year where we did, it was just, you just did it for fun and free, just a family, everyone got together. I mean, that was year was a blast too. I mean, it was always fun. Like I said, and that's what I love about coming down there. So I will drive all the way down to Randall for that. So I don't care. It's like one of the things I've told people because, a lot of people know we've been talking about possibly moving out of state. And I'm like, this would be a race I would come back for.
Oh, cool.
I would travel
We
back
would
for
love
this
to
one.
have you back. And
So
we're working on the little house in the back. So we'd
there we
actually
go.
have a guest house for you.
I'd have to come back to stay in the guest house. So
Yeah. So for those who do want to race and want, just need that competition, we are going to have at least $100 in the jackpot prize, and then the entries go in there too. But for the men's and the women's. So if
nice.
you want to race, we're keeping the jackpot too. But
That'll be good. That'll be good. I mean, because there are people that want that. I mean, they want, and that's what I think I love mostly. Like I said about yours, it gives so many options. Where you can race if you want to race, or you can just go do the treasure hunt if you want to do the treasure hunt. You can go stay dry and do the one side if you want. You can go up the hill if you want. You can go into the swamp. There's nothing that says, like so many races, I mean, are so rigid, like this is what you do. Follow this path, go this way, do this. Where with you, it's more of a like go out and have fun.
right.
Go out, enjoy it, have fun, have a blast. It's what's the best? Organized chaos.
Well, yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
A
organized
good
chaos.
organized chaos.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's organized in a way, but at the same time, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. I think is what the best way. Like, I can remember being a kid; those were our favorite books. The choose your own adventure. You went to a certain page, and then it said, "Okay, if you want to do this, go to this page. You want to go do this, go to that page." And that's kind of
I'm
how
gonna write that down for next year's theme.
I choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, and it's so much fun. So it's such a blast. What are the dates again this year?
April 22nd, Saturday.
April 22nd.
Yeah. I don't last year it was listed as the 23rd for quite a while because last year Adam goes, "Hey, what's next year?" And And because everybody was wanting to know, and I'm like, I must have looked at last year's calendar, April, instead of, I thought I had scrolled to the new one, but anyway, I shouted out April 23rd. And then we were looking at it this year as I'm redoing stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I got to change all that.
It's able to.
So
Hey,
anyway, yeah,
they'll figure it
Saturday.
out. No,
So
it'll be fine. I mean, I got a lot of people that I'm telling definitely go to this one. Like I said, there's a few races, and that's one of the things that, me and the wife talked about. If we do move like we're supposed to and like everything's planning on, there's a few races that I will have to come back for. And this is one of them. So,
good deal.
this is one because I love this race. I mean, it's so much fun. I would definitely come back for this one. So, and it works out because that would bring me back in April and then June for the other one that I'd come back for. So,
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious. What have you heard anything about, like what happened to My Muddy Valentine and the Dirty Leprechaun and
I
all
think
that
My Muddy
stuff?
Valentine was still, I think they just had it like last weekend, but it just didn't
Did
market at
they?
all.
Well,
So,
I was looking around for stuff, and I didn't look very hard, but like it's usually on Mud Run Guide, and I
yeah,
don't
I
remember
think it
seeing
was
it.
because I didn't remember seeing anything about it, but then I just saw one of my friends post that, that they had a blast at it. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I had,
good.
yeah,
Okay.
I had no idea that, I
Well,
didn't
good,
see any
because
marketing, anything
I
for
was
it.
kind of worried that they had folded, and I
I don't
hate
think
to
so.
see
I think
that.
they just, for whatever reason, their marketing didn't do
Okay.
as well this year. So I don't know. That was one of the ones I was going to actually look at it a couple of things. 'Cause I remember seeing it earlier today. I saw it that they posted that, oh, they did this. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know that
Good
was
deal.
a thing this year.
Yeah.
So, because
Well,
I didn't,
I it put on Med Run Guide for Washington,
mhm.
and well, mine's still being submitted, but um it said there's no races,
Oh,
no nothing till like September-ish.
yeah.
Is that what you guys are finding?
That's what I'm seeing a lot of. It's one of those things,
Wow.
and that's one of those things like I've talked to a lot of people, and one of the things that drives me nuts up here, and one of the reasons why I started doing triathlons was because we don't, besides yours and a few of the other ones, we don't have any real mud runs up here. We don't have anything to train for. So it's kind of like, I tell everyone I beat my body up, and usually July, August, September, I destroy my body because I'm doing race after race after race. And everyone's like, why? And I'm like, because that's when they're here.
Right.
We have a very small window in Washington, but I don't think it should be as small as it is. I think they should have races like April, May, June, but they don't. It's like they used to have the one Spartan race in April, but that we don't get that one even anymore. So
Right.
it's interesting. It's one of those things that's always been tough here because I see the same thing actually with triathlons. Triathlons in Washington are usually like June to September. Because everyone wants that warm
Right.
whatever, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
kind of like I like some of them to be in the cold and whatever. It makes me get up and do stuff because it's like right now I'm dealing with the fact that since September I haven't had a race, and I've kind of been slacking on the training, so I got to get back into it. But it's kind of that's what makes it difficult sometimes. It's like when you have that huge off season to oh, I got time to get ready for the races, but now all of a sudden it's February and I'm like, oh, I've been slacking for too long.
Yeah. So Spartan's not back on and up here in the spring anymore?
No, yeah, right now we only get like for the bigger races like Spartan and stuff like that. Um it looks like they're back September. They're in Seattle, and then like the very next weekend they do Tough Mudder in Seattle.
Okay.
Or it's like either it's not, it
Well,
might not be the next weekend. I think it might be 2 weekends, but it's right there. It's all
yeah,
August and September is all the only time we get any of the bigger races up here.
I might have to actually look at moving to the third weekend in April then eventually, because the fourth weekend is usually opening of fishing season.
Mhm.
So
But you always get the
Mineral,
fourth season to get away from
well,
Spartan.
Mineral has a big, huge deal there.
Mhm.
And, if we're trying to help promote each other for different things, there's there's people there that would love to come to the race, but that's a huge moneymaker for them,
Yeah.
you know. And then I can't do it. I would love to do it like the first weekend of May because we just usually get better weather, but that's Packwoods run. They have a, what do they call it? The mountain run or something like that.
And that's one of those things that's
So,
cool too, is like when you have a small one, like, a local event, you're looking at around you like, hey, Packwood's doing this, they're doing this. You're trying not to step on everyone's toes so
right.
everyone can get the revenue and all of that. Where a lot of times when you see the big ones, they're just like, whatever works for us.
I know. Well, we moved our race that one year, how many times because Spartan
Yeah,
was,
they kept moving.
yeah. So, oh well.
Yeah, but
At
it's one of
least we
those.
had the flexibility to do it, right?
Yeah. And it's one of those things. I mean, I'll be honest. It's, we've said it before. I love the local. I would rather support a local race than anything. I've done a couple where people have been surprised where I've completely skipped a race that I would have normally done, like for one of the bigger race companies, and gone and done a local one. And everyone's like, why? And I'm like, because I would rather support the local. Without the local, we don't get the big ones anyway. So,
Right.
and I think that's where a lot of the big races don't understand. If they were to help support some of these local smaller races like yours, the ones that get people, hooked on obstacle course racing and mud runs. People are like, oh, hey, I heard one of my friends is going to this thing down in Randall. And then all of a sudden they do it and like, that's a blast. Where's another one? Yeah.
Right.
And then they start looking at the others. Nobody starts with a Spartan. I mean, some
Right.
people do, some do, but typically they
I
start.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I
Because
wouldn't. I
they
went and
look too
did
hard.
a friend's because it was a friend and
Yeah.
I didn't have to administrate it, but we went and did that and it was fun, but I would have never gone to a Spartan first.
No, and a lot of people, don't think about that. Like Spartan, because Spartan looks very, intimidating. The way, even their website is supposed
Well,
to, oh, we're,
I'm sorry, if I can't do an obstacle, I don't want to be penalized by doing
yeah,
burpees. I just, it's like it sucks bad enough that I couldn't do the obstacle. Why do you know,
yeah.
it's not like
Yeah,
I'm
Why,
racing or anything.
why are you going to force me to, yeah. And that's the thing is, I mean, it's definitely one of those, and they look a lot more difficult and everything else. And it's, no one's going to, it's like my wife will do a lot of the smaller races, but she'd never do a Spartan. She's like, nope, that looks too much for me. So, I mean, it's like the little ones, like, like Summit to Swamp and some of these other races that get people involved and get them like, oh, this is fun. Or someone comes in and like, oh, hey, I want to volunteer to help out. And they watch them do it and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks so much fun. And I've
Yeah.
had a couple of friends that have done that. Well, I just want to hang out with, like their husband or their, wife or boyfriend, girlfriend are going to go do it. And they're like, oh, I'll volunteer while they do it. And they volunteer and they're sitting out there going, I'm doing this next time. You know,
Yeah, I could have done that. I could
yeah,
have done that.
yeah.
Well, and we threw in some fun stuff last year too, like the just goofy things like the pebble toss. Did you have fun with the pebble
Mhm.
toss? So we're like, well, rather than just walking on the sandbar or whatever, or when the racers come through, they're going to be running pretty hard in that sand if they're running.
Mhm.
That's a trudge through that sand. And so let's get them breathing hard and come through there, or and then have to try to calm down enough to toss a little pebble into a tire,
Yeah.
15 feet away. And or you have the kids come down there and they want to play in the, they want to play by the river or whatever. And just
Oh, yeah. And it's
fun.
fun
Just
having those
sometimes
little.
the silly things are just fun.
They are. Well, and like I said, that's what's fun about it too, is you, like I said, I think people think too hard about what the obstacles need to be. Where for you guys, you're like, okay, this is what we have. What can we do with this and make it fun and make it an obstacle? Like
Mhm.
just the pebble toss, which was just, it's simple, it's whatever. And I mean, how many times have we, when we're bored, just sitting there on the beach, tossing a pebble and trying to hit things, and then all
Right.
of a sudden it's like, here, now it's an obstacle. Now you got to figure out how to do it for real, and that's what I love, and then the tire wall, where you have to climb up and over the tires and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff, and the tire maze when you're down there crawling around in the tires
Oh,
trying
do
to
you
figure
like
out.
you like the dark maze too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which a lot of
You
people
know,
like, it's simple.
yeah, and I'm surprised that actually is one of the favorites. People say they absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, we don't put the plastic on until the night before because we don't want the critters to come hang out in there.
That would be Interesting. Oh, new obstacle critters. Yeah.
Well, we were building it a couple years ago, and we had crawled through to make sure it was really dark. So Jasmine was outside and I was crawling through, and we were looking for places where there was light coming through so we could tape it up and stuff. And I didn't realize that our little Chihuahua type dog had followed me in there. And so I go out the other end, and little dog, she's still inside, but we didn't know it. And so I said, well, Jasmine, you go through and see if you can see anything that I missed. So she goes through there, and all of a sudden she starts screaming, Mom, there's something in here. And she comes barreling out backwards, and poor little dog, she comes out after her. I mean, it was kind of funny, but I'm like, what possibly could have gotten in there between, when I just went through and
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, and
it
it's
was
one of those things that,
funny.
like I said, yeah, if you left it overnight, who knows what would, you are out
Yeah.
in the woods, there's critters. So
So I really, really, really want to get an infrared game camera this year and put in there. So it will, the motion activation.
you get pictures of people going through.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. That would be cool.
So
Yeah. And I mean, that's the fun of this stuff when you do, you have your random little, out there, you can do your own ingenious little ideas. And I think that's one of the things that, I've talked to quite a few people. The bigger races, they end up because they have to move it to the next spot and do all that stuff. They
mhm.
come up with cookie cutter, easy to set up, easy to use obstacles. But then it's like, okay, cool. I did this obstacle last week at the last place.
Right.
Where when we come out there halftime, it's like, I have never seen anything like this. And it is,
Well, this year, one of the new ones we're going to do is going to be down in the field. And I have that 12 by 12 cargo net.
Mhm.
And so you're going to have to climb up the ropes. We'll put some with knots and some without, but we're going to suspend the cargo net between trees. We'll find some trees out there that we can do for, so the cargo net will be kind of flat. And so you'll have to climb up one side, up the ropes, crawl across the cargo net about 8-10 feet up in the air, and then down the ropes on the other side.
Well, that'll be
So,
fun.
yeah, so we haven't had that one, but since we've expanded down into the other area, we have lots more options actually.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, it's one of those things. It's one, like I said, it's one I look forward to every year. It'll be a blast as usual. I can't wait. That sounds fun. I want to see those ones.
yeah,
Like I said, the kayak. I mean, it's one of those things I don't do. I love kayak.
right.
I just don't get a chance to do it anymore.
Well, and
kayak, but
you realize too that you can go back and forth on. I mean, it's not just one chance to do an obstacle, or
Mhm. Yeah.
if you do the kayaks and nobody's hanging out, you can turn around and go do it again.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is what's so much
same
fun.
with the zip line. If the kids are liking the zip line, or the adults, whatever,
Mhm.
go down the zip line and go back around.
Yeah. Which is
And I
so
think we're
so
spread
cool.
out enough too that there's not really a line. We kind of, you guys all gave input about, hey, we need to do some running area. We need to do a little running first, get people spread out so we aren't right on top of each other and stuff like that. So,
And I've seen that on quite a few events. It's one of the things, like, one of the big ones that me and Brian did last year was Tough Mudder, but we did it as the group that we did it in. It was an unlimited thing. So we had a special jersey so we could skip all the lines. But I'm looking at some of the lines going, there's 20 minutes just waiting to do the obstacle. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. And that's one of the things that I always hate. And that's one of the things I love about yours. I've never had to wait on any of them.
oh, really?
We're so spread out. Usually, we've been spread out enough that it's like, I get to the obstacle, like right as, someone's coming back or someone just went, there was no real
Yeah,
backups.
I think our worst year for that was 2019 when everybody went straight up the hill. Uh, um, so they left from the start area, and it was straight up the
Mhm.
the hill, and there was no way to pass, so you had like the top 4, 5, 6 guys all running hard together, but there's really no place to pass because we went uphill first.
Yeah.
And so then by the time they got down here to some of the other tight obstacles, there was still no way to pass really. So
And I can see that. And that's one of the things that, like you said, live and learn. You figure out, hey,
yeah,
that didn't work. No, don't want to go straight up the hill where it's the single track. Because that's one of the things where I got, when I've done it, we went the other ways first. So by the time we got to the hill, there was no bond. We weren't bottled up.
right.
So
Yeah.
occasionally you might run into, I think we ran into like one time where we ran into someone that was a little slower than us. We waited a couple minutes. We found us like a spot where we could
Uh-huh.
go. And I mean, it was never, but I'm not in a hurry. I'm out there having a fun, whatever. I'm not, even when I'm, at my best and my skinniest, I'm not fast. So
Oh,
I'm just out
well,
there for fun.
hopefully we're going to, I've been working on trying to get the course done. Unfortunately, we've had a little bit of sickness running through our family. So
Yeah,
I
but
thought I had escaped it till a day or two ago. And then it's like, oh man.
yeah, it happens. I've been
So,
lucky. I've escaped most of it. So I'm hoping I don't catch it. But
yeah. So anyway, I should have a course map up, and um, we're gonna try to get a drone for this year so we can do some fun stuff with that. And I don't know, maybe have the drone drop us some special treasures here and there.
that'd be fun.
I don't know, but that'll be kind of fun to get some cool pictures. And
It'd be a blast.
anyway, I don't know, and we're always eager to hear new ideas, suggestions, comments, because it's um, whatever anybody may think. It at this point, it's not about making money. I'm sorry, we put way more of our personal money into it than,
Yeah.
than we ever get back. It's a sore subject with my husband and I. But I mean, um, I guess a person could go out and try to get big dog sponsors and all this stuff, but um, after COVID and so many businesses just are having a rough time of it and stuff, it's like, what we can do on our own, we'll do on our own. And we'll keep it going as a fun place for people to come.
Yeah.
So,
Which is what makes it better. I mean, it's so amazing that, it's even though you come to, basically, know that it's not really going to make you money at this point, you still want to keep doing it, and that really shows that, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a money making. No, it's not.
no, it's
I've
not.
known a couple people now that have gotten into being race directors and running their own races. They're like, this is not a money making scheme at all.
No.
Like, this is way too much work to make money.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I guess, if you ran it as a big business, like Spartan and some of those do, but even some of those brands have gone down.
mhm. I mean, amazing that Spartan's been the one that's been able to keep it going. They bought a bunch of other brands, but I know they've been having issues too, just trying to get people after COVID to come back, to
Right.
races and do that stuff. And, it's kind of, it's one of those things. Everyone's struggling. It's a little
Yeah.
bit different world. I mean, everyone's like, oh, we're back to normal. I don't think we'll ever be back to the normal that we knew in 2019. So
Right.
everyone's got to do exactly what obstacle race is supposed to teach us, how to see obstacles and figure out ways to go up, over, and around them.
Yeah.
So,
And so this year we're just trying really hard to keep it affordable for families. So we
mhm.
just basically figured in our costs, what's it going to cost for us to give you the things you're going to get when you come?
Yeah.
And then we have a few sponsors to help pay for some other stuff, but just trying to make it good, because I remember going skiing as a kid. Heck, I can't even, it's like $100 now to go skiing for a day. I'm like, really? For
It's
one of us,
insane.
you know?
So
And so there, it's just everything's becoming so stinking expensive.
yeah,
So it just need a place to come be.
exactly. And that's what it's gonna be. Come be, have fun. So
Yeah. And we
yeah.
do have camping free of charge. We have plenty of place to camp.
Yeah.
Dry camping, but it's there if anybody wants to come down ahead.
Yeah. I'll make sure,
And
and we'll make sure once we, post this episode that everyone, links on where to sign up and all that kind of stuff and all that stuff, how to get a hold of you. So
yeah. So I'm planning to hopefully planning to be ready for a run through the weekend before.
Yeah.
So that we'll have a week to fix things, because I really don't like having holes of, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Because I know where to go, I know where to go, but is somebody new to the property, if, it would be nice to have a run through and okay, well, this worked well on that.
we'll
And
talk to a few people. Maybe we'll see if we can get down there for a run through the weekend before. So
yeah,
yeah,
that would be good.
that would be.
So we can run through and then go fix the holes, right?
Yes.
So it'd be a
Run
run
through,
through or fix them as we go.
run through and
I
fix
don't
it.
know.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, good deal.
Thank you for talking to me and everything else as usual. We'll definitely, put it out there. Hey, get out there and, sign up for Summit to Swamp, get down there and have some fun.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me, it's summittoswamp@gmail.com or call me. My phone number's on the website. It's on the registration page. So, and so right now the registration is open on summittoswamp.com. I'm putting that on today on Facebook and Instagram. So
Okay.
it will be there, and I'll blow some stuff out. And then Beast has a code, Beast 10 for 10% off.
Okay. Beast 10.
So yeah.
Perfect. All right. We'll make sure we get all that on there and, so everyone sees it. And I can't wait to see you soon.
Okay. And if anybody does want to volunteer, let me know.
Yeah.
Because we're probably gonna need about 50 again this year. It takes 40 to 50 to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I'll reach out and see what we can get and see if we can get some people to, come down and volunteer or whatever. And we'll help you out like we always do.
I know you guys are great. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Oh,
Really
anytime.
appreciate it.
And like I said, I can't wait to see you again, and we will talk again soon.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do you like the BeastNet? Do you want to keep hearing it? Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more at BeastNet Pod.